All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, shifters.
Do you hear me now?
Sounds good.
This is my path that I am grateful for.
We're all under a lot of stress right now. There's no one on the planet that is immune from having mental health struggles.
Everyone has some sort of issue, everyone's going through something, and everyone should be able to talk about it and not feel ashamed of it.
I'm going to be open. I've gone through some stuff, I feel like it would have been beneficial to my mental health as a youth then to have someone speak to me about it, because at that age, I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea what it was.
I believe it's a commonality in all of us, and I think we all have a part within us that feels misunderstood or misjudged.
You're figuring it out yourself. It takes a toll on, your heart, because it's like that sometimes aches.
There are healthy ways to manage difficult circumstances to improve our mental health.
We wanted to prioritize building community and creating these safe spaces.
Let's stop the stigma and join the conversation. Let's feel the shift.
What is a shift? A move, especially over a small distance. It's a slight change in position, direction, or tendency. It can be a small step, and it can have a big impact. What does it look like, or sound like, or feel like for you to start a shift?
Hello, shifters.
Hey, shifters.
Hey, Chicago.
Hey, Chicago.
Let's rally.
Let's rally.
What if it starts with a conversation?
Hello, Chicago. Thank you so much for joining us for the Shift Wellness Rally Chicago. I'm Adrienne Finch.
Welcome to Chicago. Hey, everybody. I'm Paulina Rowe. And Adrienne, I'm very excited to be here in virtual life with you.
Yes, virtually. We are all together right now. I'm glad we're all here because the Shift is collaborating with some amazing organizations like Rincon Family Services, Recovery International, the City of Chicago, and so many wonderful community members and partners and sponsors to rally around creating and activating a meaningful conversation about mental health in Chicago. Paulina, why don't you kick us off? Why are you a part of the Shift Wellness Rally Chicago for its kickoff here?
Of course, well, what does it mean to rally, right? To me, it means to come together for a common purpose, to take a stand and speak up against something that matters mutually to everyone. So I want to be a part of that with mental health. There's so much non-wellness around us, mentally, physically, emotionally, that I'm ready to rally for well-being for everyone. And I've been a big voice for mental health for a while now. A lot of my colleagues on the air, on the Fred Show here in Chicago, they've been, the same, vocal about mental health professionally. I've also done a lot of work in this space too. Started, with Get Your Mind Right, to start in, do my part, right, in starting the conversation. So yeah, I'm in it.
Yes. Paulina, the act of your speaking about mental health openly is so powerful. You've definitely taken a step out to do that, and that isn't always easy. And we're about to hear today from experts, mental health advocates, and also young people in the community who have added their voice to that conversation. And you can too at home. If you are watching, you can vote in our polls when we post our first few in a moment. But before we dive into things, we do want to remind you that today we are going to be talking about mental health. And some of it can feel serious. We're not mental health experts, but we do want to make sure that you guys have resources on hand throughout the event if you need to start a conversation with a reliable resource.
Yes. So we're going to put these numbers on the screen for you to keep, and have, if any point today or if ever you experience emotional distress, you can text HELLO to 741-741 to connect with a life crisis text line counselor that's 24/7, or you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. Or if deaf and hard of hearing, you can, text telephone, that's to 800-799-4889.
Yes. So these are good numbers to have in your phone. I mean, maybe for yourself, if you need a little extra support, or to also share with a friend or a family member who might be struggling. And if they're having a hard time in their life, sometimes anonymous resources can help them feel safe to share about what they're going through.
Yes, it's so important to have someone to talk to, and that's exactly why we're here. Throughout the rally, you're going to hear from some real talk, some real people that will equip you with some powerful tips and tools to help your well-being.
And as we start this conversation and throughout the rally, we invite you to add your voice. We actually have poll questions that will be coming up on the screen. So please participate by voting on the Shift Wellness Rally website. When you see the surveys change right below your screen, or if you're watching on our website, they'll change right below your screen. Or if you're tuning into the show from social, you can vote on your phone by heading over to the shiftwellnessrally.com/vote. Super easy.
Yes. And, these aren't questions we tend to ask ourselves every day, about mental health or our well-being.
True. These can definitely be things that we shy away from, depending on whether you even feel comfortable asking for support or help when you might need it, right? So that actually brings us to our first question. Have you ever asked for mental health support? Yes or no? So be sure to go to the shiftwellnessrally.com/vote and let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking at these results also coming in. And thank you all for being so open and honest as well. And, this is a question that we've even asked before of others or of ourselves. You can let us know what you think by voting, again, on the shiftwellnessrally.com/vote.
Yes, I love it. We're seeing a lot of yes, people have asked. We're seeing some no. And so, we're going to talk a lot about that all today. I personally have asked. I had an interesting situation. I grew up with two psychologist parents. So as you can imagine, I was lucky to have those tools and the support that made my experience with online bullying and anxiety and things like that a lot more manageable. But it was even still difficult, right? So what about you, Paulina?
Yeah, no, thank you for being so open and honest. I mean, I definitely didn't ask for help until I got a little older, So growing up, I did grow up in a very, immigrant household. My parents are both from two totally different countries. We have Poland and we have Mexico. And it's just so interesting too, growing up, because for me, I kind of felt like there wasn't really a way to ask, and there were a lot of barriers, but I'm so glad that I'm doing this now, and I'm very happy that I learned how to ask for help. There's never a wrong time to ask. So, I had to learn how to make sure the people around me could hear that I was saying help. So I think these conversations are so important to be had, and that's exactly why I love that we're doing this today.
Absolutely. I mean, and you bring up a good point. How we even say help can also sound and look and be different for everyone. And let us know, you guys, everyone watching, share what you think. Have you ever felt you needed help, whether you asked for it or not? Have you felt that you could use some extra support at times? So have you ever felt you needed help? Yes or no, whether you've asked for it or not. We're still seeing a lot of yes for asking for mental health support, which is, of course, what we hope. So go ahead and vote if you haven't.
Yes, so many people feeling that way. Make sure to go cast your vote at shiftwellnessrally.com/vote. Have you ever asked for mental health support? You can also see you're definitely not alone. And if you have felt like this, you can use some extra support. Let's get this rally started then. From voices who are here to say, we hear you.
Let's do it.
Hey shifters, I'm Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
And I'm First Lady Amy Eshelman.
And we're excited to be part of the conversation surrounding the mental health of our young people.
Hi, my name is Eddie Borrayo. I am the president and CEO of Rincon Family Services, which Rincon has been around since 1972, so almost close to 50 years, providing behavioral health services to the greater Chicagoland area. Now more than ever, the importance of lifting up our youth voices, breaking down stigma surrounding our well-beings, and ensuring that our communities receive the necessary resources is crucial. Now we're here to really engage the community to talk about the importance of mental health and reducing the stigma in mental health for all of us.
This past year has been especially difficult for our young Chicagoans who have been adjusting to the many challenges that the pandemic has presented, especially those that have been impacted by their mental health.
That's why we're here to start the conversation and stop the stigma around mental health, as well as give our young people the resources they need to maintain their mental well-being.
I want to encourage you to speak out and speak up. Ask questions. Don't suffer in silence.
What really excites me about this mental wellness rally is the conversations around mental health and wellness that our youth is now able to represent themselves with. Hi, I'm Jake Roscoe. I'm 27 years old and I'm working for Rincon Family Services in Chicago.
Hey Chicago, my name is Erin Thompson.
It is a great pleasure to take part of this important conversation about mental health and mental care.
Hi, my name's Anna. I am 28 years old. I work at Rincon Family Services as a substance use counselor.
Collectively and together, we are working towards breaking the stigma.
Let's stop the stigma.
You can be heard.
Let's start the conversation. Let's stop the stigma.
Let's start the conversation.
Let's start the conversation.
Let's heal together.
Let's create a shift around here.
Mental health is everything. Our brains is where it all happens, is where creativity happens. If you think of it like a plane, the cockpit is where everything gets created. So of course, mental health is so important.
I believe the biggest obstacle to speaking about mental health is ourselves. We will create excuses. I'm okay. I feel okay today. Or it's not a good time. Or I'm too busy. It's easy to make excuses and twice as hard to be willing to help ourselves sometimes.
I think that we all feel that our own problems are less important than whatever anyone else is going through, which can be incredibly invalidating to our own mental health at times.
As someone who's really young and a student, I think that mental health has impacted people more this year than any other traditional year.
I know it's been such a challenging time through events that have been happening in our community, through collective trauma. And I just want to recognize that when we talk about mental health, we can't separate that from issues of social justice.
This whole pandemic has definitely had a humongous toll on everybody.
The effects have disproportionately affected certain groups, including young people who have had decreasing access to mental health services.
During this whole pandemic and everything, it's been so hard to get all of these services. You feel distance with people, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely felt an increase in anxiety that sometimes I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was seeing people close to me passing away or getting sick, and that was terrifying.
Since I haven't been able to interact with a lot of people, I see myself getting anxious when I'm in social situations.
We don't even know the true impact of COVID on our mental health on a situation where it was already terrible.
My biggest message around starting the conversation around mental health is look inward first and ask yourself, what are you needing right now? What does wellness mean to you, and what do you need to reach that?
When our emotions spin out of control, our minds and bodies can feel like they're not our own. We might know we need help, but for what exactly? Mental Health America has developed a screening tool that can help you figure out what you're dealing with.
So when your trusted adult or your doctor or your therapist asks what's wrong, you don't have to say, I don't know.
Understanding what's going on with your mental health is the first step in getting the support that you need ASAP.
Welcome everybody. We are here for a discussion around mental health with youth in our community. My name is Rosana Rodriguez and I am the alderwoman of the 33rd Ward. We are so glad that we have an opportunity to have this conversation out in the open, to continue to talk about stigma around mental health, and what our needs are as young people, as communities. We know that we have been living through really hard times in the last year. Do you believe that mental health care is available to you, and do you feel comfortable asking for it if you need it?
It's kind of hard to reach out, just sitting around, in a bad place in general, you know what I'm saying? And then it got so bad to the point where I was just freaking out about everything, I really wanted to reach out, right? I didn't know how to. My parents, they really didn't understand what was going on with me, you know what I'm saying?
It's really hard to reach out because you don't know if someone's gonna believe you, because we've always been questioned about are you sure it's not about your grades, especially if you're first generation and your parents are immigrants. It's extremely hard because they don't understand. They'll just portray what they've been through as a kid or their life, their past life on you.
If it wasn't my parents that are gonna help me out, I was Then who else? I was thinking about, reaching out to like to the counselor. She gave me this email that got me to talk with a psychologist, right? Or a therapist. I'm so thankful for that day that I got to reach out. I got that help.
It's been a very big change, not only for adults, but I feel like sometimes teachers and even parents don't understand that it's also been a humongous shift for us, and that we need more support. And just understanding that, things aren't how they used to be and that things are different. We can't do the same things we used to be able to do.
I used to always love coming to school because I always felt safe. And I always felt like it's an environment to be able to talk to my teachers about my problems, and they were always there for me. So I feel like teachers should always be there for their students, do daily checkups. If they're slacking off, to contact them, to do meetings with them. That's super important because it's gonna go a long way. And their mental health is going to affect everything in their life. Their education, their jobs, whatever they do in life is gonna affect it.
I feel very privileged to live in a household where I can talk to my mom and I go to therapy and I have people I can talk to, but there's so many people that don't have an opportunity in their household. They can't talk to their parents, and even if they do and their parents want to help them, they might not have the funds to, and they don't know where to get help.
People who in the community just never have taken any kind of therapy, have never even heard of therapy, or they never even heard of mental health, but they feel some type of way and they don't know why they're feeling the way they're feeling. That's what the Living Room program is there for. It's kind of like that tiny step. You don't have insurance, you don't want to do therapy, or if you've had a bad experience with therapy, come on over, we'll talk to you. You need help looking for a job, or you need help looking for insurance if you don't have insurance, or any resources that you need help with, they're also there to help you. And you're gonna leave thinking, okay, I'm not alone. I have someone here who's not only listening, but they're gonna talk to me and they're gonna give me options. And you can come as much as you want, as often as you want.
And my experience here it's been great. We have the meditation room and we have the library. All the time when I'm not doing nothing, all I do is just come here and chill.
And it's like different components that make up a house, that make up a safe space. They have the sofas, they have the TV, little coffee table. There's a meditation room, which is pretty cool because it's like, oh my gosh, there's a meditation room. You just want to sit down and, take your mind off of things and play some video games. There's a gaming room. There's an art room. So if you feel like you want to draw or doodle, art could be very therapeutic for people.
I made this art. One of the staff members made this one right here. I made that one right here. This is my safe place. It took me away from the streets. It took me away from ending up in the hospital. And yeah.
All I gotta do is walk in. You don't have to set an appointment, and then they'll be there to help you, and they'll ask you, what do you need? And this is what we're gonna do to try and get you what you need.
We know that we cannot go through this life journey alone. Sometimes we need people who have been there to provide a little bit more support along the way. Having an adult or someone in your life that you feel safe with is so important to your mental health. For me, that trusted adult in my life when I was in high school was actually a teacher. This teacher was so influential in terms of my mental health because I could go to her when I had issues. So often it was hard for me to talk to my parents about my mental health, about the different things I was going through and the things I was feeling. And having that teacher there just to be a sounding board to chat with when I was feeling down really helped me to feel okay. And I know that if I was in a place where I needed a lot of support, or maybe I needed professional help, like to see a therapist or a psychiatrist, if I needed that extra support, I know that she would have been there for me in order to help me get connected to the resources to make me feel better.
Sometimes when we're at our lowest is when life chooses to challenge us the most. And if you live with depression or bipolar, well, those challenges can be isolating and sometimes feel never ending. With our new podcast, I'm Living Proof, a letter to my younger self, you may discover that you're not alone. Join us as we listen to young adults living with depression or bipolar detail their first brush with a mood disorder and a letter written and read to their younger selves. In each letter, we explore their journey, learn how they face the challenges of living with a mood disorder, and find out what makes them living proof.
Wow. I think there's so much to look back on in our experiences where we really can see our own strength, right? And plus what young people are dealing with overall. I mean, there's a lot that's going on right now that's brand new to the world. So you guys can keep voting on our website to add your thoughts into the conversation.
Yes, and we've heard COVID, we've heard isolation, all new experiences, new challenges, right?
Oh, right. And then the feeling of, not being understood or not knowing where to turn, that all adds up. So what did you guys say your biggest stressors are? If you haven't voted, feel free to go to theshiftwellnessrally.com/vote. Let us know. Get in on this conversation. We're seeing some school, money, relationships. There's a little bit of everything here.
Yes, all valid stress,
Yeah.
For sure. We also heard just now about some different types of support, which is so important, and they're helping people, right? Whether as a first timer or someone who's used to asking for help. We're curious what you all think, even if support is there. When you get stuck in an emotion or a situation, do you feel comfortable asking for help?
Right.
Yeah, no, you can also go cast your vote now to theshiftwellnessrally.com/vote to join in all the conversations too today.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of yes, but we're still seeing some no. And of course, we want everyone to ultimately get to a place of feeling comfortable, but it's okay that you're not feeling comfortable right now. That's why we're here. It's not always easy to say help sometimes. And there are also so many ways to take a small step. It might even be overwhelming to think about kind of where to start and how do you calm your mind enough to know where to start, right?
Absolutely. And, we're going into a really nice mind shift moment with a meditation exercise, one of my favorites too, led by Dr. Broderick Sawyer, and some great conversation around stigma and building trust, a special Q&A visit with Chicago's very own mayor, Lori Lightfoot, with more resources and ways that you can find a starting point around your own mental well-being.
I began my therapy journey when I was 19 years old. I was experiencing panic attacks. When I was first introduced to meditation, I'm like, how am I going to sit here for 10 minutes and not talk? That's brutal for me. One of the most amazing benefits of meditation was me being able to calm the monkey brain down. That's an actual term. Because sometimes this gets so jumbled and so cluttered.
The terms mental health or wellness make me think of, the awareness we all have within ourselves when we aren't okay all the time, and that's okay to feel that way. And just, the importance of recognizing those moments we experience and how we choose to cope with those situations on our own.
Hello. My name is Dr. Broderick Sawyer. I am a clinical psychologist, meditation teacher, therapist, speaker, educator, got a book in the works, different things like that. But I'm here today to talk about just mindfulness and how it can help you just engage in your own journey of mental health and healing, of self-realization, really living your truth. And I've learned a lot and took a lot away from mindfulness, both in my personal life, struggling with anxiety, depression, substance use, trauma for myself. And I've also helped a lot of clients, therapy clients, work through their own difficulties, just using the power of mindfulness. Mindfulness is in the present moment. It's always there. So that feeling that you have right now, watching this random guy talking, smiling, pausing, right? So you're tuning into what's happening in the present moment, right? So if I have a class assignment due, next week, if I'm thinking about that when I'm in the present moment, when I'm not working on it, there's really no point to worrying or following my mind going into that space, right? So mindfulness, in essence, is the ability to see your mind pulling you out of the present moment and instead choosing to stay in the present moment. Instead, you see the worries on the horizon. You see that big project that you have to do tomorrow. It's okay to worry. It's okay to have fear. But we don't follow our fears when we're not in moments that we can actually do something about them. Mindfulness is a reality as it is, not as I wish it was. That's what mindfulness is when it comes to mental health and well-being. We want to allow ourselves to feel what we feel. And we want to have compassion for the human condition. I'd like to do just a brief meditation exercise. This is how we become present. We want to start with nice full in breaths, breathing all the way in. And then at the top of the in-breath, just let go and breathe all the way out. And then once again, I want you to breathe all the way in. And then release your breath at the top and just try to loosen your shoulders a little bit with that out breath. Relax your jaw muscle a little bit. And keep breathing in this way. So breathe all the way in. Really fill your lungs. And on the out breath, just release. Release any tension. Release any worries. All you have to focus on in this moment is breathing all the way in and breathing all the way out. That's all there is to it. Just continue to breathe this way. All the way in, all the way out. And then allow your breath to resume at a natural rhythm. So that means that no more deep breaths. So just let your breath settle. And just let it breathe itself. You don't need to control it anymore. Let it breathe. And what I want you to do once your breath is settled is imagine some place or someone who makes you feel good. This can be a place like the beach, or for me, it's a basketball court. Or if it's a person, it can be a grandmother, a parent, a friend, a pet. There's someone or some place that makes you feel really relaxed, really at ease. And I want you to imagine yourself with this person, or with this pet, or in this place. Just use your imagination to put yourself in this relaxed, safe space. So if you're imagining a place, you might imagine what it feels like. If you're at the beach, maybe your toes are in the sand, or if you're in the forest, see how green it is. Imagine all the little details. And if you're imagining a pet, imagine that you're petting your dog or you're petting your cat. Just really bring to mind what it's really like to feel that appreciation. It's a person. Imagine their eyes looking back at you, smiling, and you're smiling at them too. And just feel the sense of connection and ease with the space that you're in. Just really appreciate the space. Just really breathe into the space. Notice any feelings of happiness, of ease. And just taking a few more breaths. Just one nice big in-breath. Breathing out. And you can open the eyes. That was just a little bit of a mindfulness meditation practice. That can serve to help us become more present. And it can also help us create feelings of happiness or joy. We were just practicing breathing, right? And sometimes that's what you can do. You can just set your timer for 5 minutes. Just sit, you just breathe all the way in, all the way out. And on the out breath, just relax your shoulders, relax any tension in your body. And there you go. Very effective practice of Brace for Sleep. And then that second practice we just visualized someone or some place that we just really love. And we sit in that, and then we start to feel feelings of kindness and peace and openness. So the more you practice feeling that way in a meditation, when you're imagining something, then you can start to transfer those feelings to your everyday life. Hey, I really appreciate you all. I'm just really, really happy to be a part of this. Here's to healing.
So you know all those feels you tend to feel? Well, being able to put words, actual vivid language to it, can be a big part of reducing the negative impact on our mental state. For example, if you're feeling sad, it actually helps us manage this emotion when we can be specific about the kind of sadness that we're feeling. Disappointment, grief, empty, isolated, powerless. Coming up with words for our emotions isn't always easy, especially when we're feeling out of it to begin with. This online tool can help us find words we didn't even know we were looking for. All the Feels is an awesome free app that helps you identify and track your emotions. It helps you name your feelings with expressive words that you can relate to, creating a catalog of your emotional vocabulary. You can use it as a tool to really see where you're at, and you can share your weekly or monthly graphs with your therapist. I mean, who has time to remember how you were feeling last Tuesday? All the Feels is a really simple way to put the right words to what we're feeling so that we can better manage how we're feeling.
Hello, my name is Rosa Gomez. I'm 29 years. I'm from Chicago, Southside. It's not easy for my community to talk about mental health. We don't know how to express, how to say, I need help, and we need that. It's not a lot of places to help our community in their own language. And I'm not talking only about Hispanic. I'm talking about Polish, French, Chinese, Japanese. They need someone in their own language to express themselves better.
I grew up in a household where if I were to say I was sad, I was anxious, or feeling, depressed or whatever, I was met with, don't you have food on the table? Don't we provide for you? Don't you have a roof over your head? Don't you go to school? We wish we had your life. Things like that.
I have both depression and anxiety, and the reason why I wouldn't talk about my family about it would be because I wouldn't want to worry them, because I myself I'm a people pleaser. So I wouldn't want to talk about it because they're gonna think badly of me or they're gonna judge me.
What inspired me to become a mental health advocate was my own lived experiences. I was coping with my depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and just not really having outlets that helped me to understand what I was feeling, why I was feeling, what I could do about it. Instead, I was getting punished a lot by my school, threatened by law enforcement. When you get treated that way at such a young age, when really what you need is support, what you need is education, you need connection, you need love, you need joy. That made me really angry and helped me to question, why is this the treatment that I got and what can we do about it instead?
A lot of times a behavior can get misinterpreted as being disrespectful or defiant, but teachers understanding that, unfortunately, the communities that we live in, there's a lot that happens in our communities that can be considered toxic environments or just an unjust society in general. A lot of fear, anxiety, anger, or just toxic stress comes from living in these environments. It doesn't end when you walk into the building, right? So if teachers are in solidarity with their students' pain, they know that there's a root cause of it.
Giving us a punishment for feelings that we can't control is like telling us who cares? Putting them into detention just makes them more rebellious, more mad, because they're you're not listening to me. I want to be heard.
What are behaviors, attitudes, actions that you believe you need right now from adults around you?
What I think that we need the most right now is emotional support. We just need someone to talk to without being judged. If we're upset, we shouldn't be judged and be told oh, it's because you have low grades or it's because you're not completing all your assignments. things like that make students and teens like me feel like less of themselves.
Instead of putting people on detention, for example, you can have a conversation with somebody, right?
I feel like it's a better approach. You have the deans and everything talking to students like, are you okay? Instead of giving them like suspension or detention. I feel like that kind of brings out their character and kind of tells you like why they're acting like a certain way. So you personally understand that this is why they're acting this way, and it helps the deans and the teachers understand if this happens like next time, we know why and we know how to prevent it.
It also shifts that thinking of, oh, when I get in trouble, it means I'm a bad kid, I do bad things all the time. It shifts that and says they need help for the things they go through. And it just tells kids that it's okay to get help, it's okay to feel feelings, and they don't have to be punished for just being a human being.
I feel like it's just having the offer right there, you know? Obviously they don't need help, but just have it on the table, you know what I'm saying?
My history teacher does like little opener in the beginning of class where we can just like answer the question that she puts up and we all have like a conversation about it. It creates this little space where like you kind of feel like safe and you can like talk about anything, even if it's not anything that's like a super deep conversation. You just feel like you can open up and say anything without being judged or any of that. It's super nice.
Being able to create an environment of relationships in the class that are based on that kind of trust is where you'll be able to get to the real support. It's too easy to say, what can I do for you? Come in and talk to me. You know, my door is always open. But if you don't feel comfortable and you don't trust that person, it's hard to step through that door and to ask for help.
When students feel that they're in a safe space, there's more willingness to share, to be in a conversation, to resolve conflict. This is a shift from being punitive to restorative. When we have these restorative conversations, it actually strengthens the relationship between the student and the teacher. We also come up with agreements, and that keeps the student in mind and the teacher in mind and puts some accountability. We've learned that the restorative practices and these safe spaces allow for healing moments. So these are all things that help with the healing process.
Creating a new life for myself after depression wasn't easy. Because when you're at your lowest, it's hard to see the big picture. Sometimes you need help. I'm not gonna say that calling NAMI Chicago's helpline saved my life, but it did help me save myself. It helped me realize that there's something beautiful on the other side of all of my pain. NAMI Chicago has mental health experts ready to talk to you 7 days a week. It's free and it's confidential. Just imagine, what if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your fear of getting help? Let people be there for you. It's okay. Call 833-626-4244 or DM NAMI Chicago. And never forget, just because you are a work in progress doesn't mean you're not a work of art.
Hi there, I'm Zoe Takaki. I'm a 19-year-old college student currently living in Chicago. And a question that I have for the mayor and any other city officials that are policy leaders is, how can the city support teens going through mental health crises?
How do you plan to include youth and adolescents in the conversation around mental health when policies are being put into place?
We really are hoping that this rally sends a message and sheds light on the importance of investing in mental health resources for our communities, especially for Black and Brown communities.
Specifically, teens in low-income communities that might be dealing with stress revolving race issues, financial issues, familial issues, community issues.
Creating policies and providing resources that support the mental health of our residents, especially those who are particularly vulnerable, has been one of my priorities since I became mayor. That's why during my first year in office, in our first budget, I doubled the city's investments in mental health to expand equity and access to care across all of our neighborhoods.
Hi, my name is Kathy Calderon, and I'm Director of Mental Health Operations with the Chicago Department of Public Health. Mayor Lightfoot understands that our mental health system, the bigger picture of all services available, does not reach all communities and residents as easily or abundantly. Mayor Lightfoot has created a platform to develop new pathways of connection for mental health agencies and Chicagoans, especially Chicago's youth.
In May 2020, We took our CARES Act funding and expanded mental health supports to protect the mental health and well-being of our residents during the COVID-19 pandemic. And just a few months later, after that, in our second budget in October of 2020, I announced $8 million in annual grant funding to 32 community-based organizations to create and sustain our city's trauma-informed mental health safety net system.
The process of building a network of trauma-informed centers of care paves the way for a respectful and accessible path for people to use their own approach in addressing their mental health needs. Whether you first want to talk to your primary care provider or you prefer to talk to a mental health professional at school, know there are a lot of efforts behind the scenes to help make that easier for you. In addition, we want to be sure mental health professionals and providers have a collective and strong understanding of what trauma is and how to approach the healing process.
Through these efforts, among others, we have provided critical aid to many of our young people in their time of greatest need. But there's still more work to be done to connect all of our young people to mental health care. One way we've done this is by creating the first ever Mayor's Youth Commission to ensure our young people not only have a voice, but a platform for that voice to be heard. The Mayor's Youth Commission brings a necessary, nuanced perspective to the table, and their feedback is integrated into a number of my administration's policy initiatives, which includes mental health. Thank you all for this opportunity, and please continue to be safe.
Be sure to look closer at all the resources available at My Shy, My Future. And find behavioral health and social service resources at the Chicago Department of Health's Chicago Connects website as another path to supporting your mental and emotional well-being. NAMI Chicago's resources page has over 20 local connections for when you need help in Chicago. And if you need someone to help you navigate through it, reach out to NAMI Chicago's helpline, 833-626-4244. It's free and confidential and open 7 days a week. It's staffed by clinicians and peers who can guide you through types of treatment, lend a compassionate ear, connect you to legal and housing support, and also can provide resources for mental health professionals and clinicians. Plus, check out this list of NAMI warm lines. You've heard of hotlines, and those are typically for crises. Warm lines are for when you just need someone to talk to. Warm lines on NAMI's list are free and confidential. They're staffed by peer counselors who have their own lived experiences around mental health conditions themselves, so not trained therapists. And locate 60 more mental health resources that you can access anywhere in the USA on this social work license map. Also add this to your list. You can call 211 no matter where you are. A 24/7 free and confidential service supported by the United Way that helps match people with resources like food, shelter, and mental health services. And as always, look for more resources on our website.
Did you know that there are a lot of apps that help with mental and emotional well-being? Of course you do. There's an app for everything. Just look at all these well-being apps. Apps that match you with a therapist or coach for low or reduced cost. Apps that specialize in connecting people with culturally relevant counselors. Apps that have guided meditations, stories, music. Try adding an app to your well-being toolbox.
It's really hard going through some stuff, school stuff, or you and your friend had a fight, but there's important people you need to go to, your friends, your family,
The biggest surprise I've gotten in the past from sharing what I was going through was the love and support I received from my closest friends, with their kind words and overall just checking in with me.
Brain XP is teens helping teens. It started with my book, Brain XP, Living with Mental Illness, A Young Teenager's Perspective. And the reason I wrote the book was because I didn't find the materials that I needed that were easily accessible for me when I was struggling. It's 10 chapters of me telling my mental health story. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything is in there. People can relate to it. People don't feel alone anymore, especially teenagers. It has grown into something so much more. Brain XP Project, the Brain XP community. We offer music. We offer tons of resources based on lived experience. The social media. Almost everything is free for access. I want this to be accessible for teenagers, for their parents, for mental health professionals, because I couldn't find those things accessible for me. As a community, we're changing the language of mental health to be far more positive. Community offers something very special, and that's a new perspective on mental health.
Looking to connect to a community after the rally? Feeling connected is so important to our emotional well-being. And even if you're not venturing out as much, there are some really awesome online communities to lean into, like #HalfTheStory,
a community encouraging healthy, whole story sharing to break the standard social media narrative of all perfect all the time that so poorly impacts mental health. The hashtag We Were Here project is recording and preserving the teen perspectives on the current state of the world, including how COVID-19 has affected you. And hashtag Same Here Global, because everyone has mental health, everywhere. Here you can share stories, find tools and resources, and locate experts to connect with from around the world.
Recovery International has been around for more than 80 years. The recovery method helps people learn to identify and manage negative thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that can lead to emotional distress and even physical symptoms. Our mission is to use peer-led cognitive behavioral systems to help people gain skills to lead more peaceful and productive lives. We provide tools to train your brain to view a situation differently and change your reaction to it. We thought that using graphic novel panels would be a fun way to illustrate daily situations that can get us worked up.
My name is Corey, and I'm a new, proud member of Recovery International. I joined last year, and my life could have been greater. Whenever I'm in symptoms, whenever I'm in temper, whenever I'm in anxiety, I have recovery tools to help me.
People used to say I had a short fuse. Arguing with my parents, family, friends, and teachers, I felt misunderstood. My grades were trash, and I got no sleep. I'm trying to control my anger. It's hard, and day to day. Today tested that. Sup, Mike? Bro, you hear me?
I hear you. Trying to listen to my music.
Rude. That pissed me off. I thought how silly it was, laughed it off, and decided to just walk away from the situation. I was surprised what happened next.
Hey. Sorry, Juan. I didn't mean to snap. Just going through some stuff.
It's okay. We all have bad times. Today I saw controlling my anger can work. I have to try to think things through and keep calm. And also have a sense of humor.
This program works numbers of your day-to-day activities, from trivialities, from losing your car keys, to being late on that homework assignment, to having another homework assignment due right back to back, or studying for those midterms or those exams.
Hi there. Start here and go up. Sometimes when I'm feeling stressed, or I can feel my heart beating a little bit more, or I'm feeling tense and I know that I need to take a break, I do something that my 5-year-old daughter in kindergarten taught me, starfish breathing. And it's just a series of 5 breaths. So you start from the bottom and you go up. And it's just deep breaths, and it just gives you 5 seconds of pause to reset. Thanks. I know I'm feeling a little better.
Yes, that's such a fun exercise, starfish breathing. I'll have to use that personally.
I love it.
Yes, those were powerful conversations, and what gets in the way is different for everybody. You know, so many people dealing with different support structures, environments, reactions from their surroundings. So if you're asking for help, are you able to be heard and get the help you need? So our question for you now is, have you gotten help when you've asked for it? You can go to the shiftwellnessrally.com/vote to join in on all the conversations happening. I mean, always, often, it's okay, rarely, never.
Sometimes, yeah, I think I think there have definitely been times when I've asked for help and maybe not gotten the help, but maybe I wasn't sure exactly how to ask the way that I needed to, or I didn't really know what I needed help with. Yeah, we're seeing answers all across the board. Some people are really out there looking for resources on their own, and in some cases, they just don't know where to start, I think. So what about you guys? I want you to add your voice to the conversation. The next question is, what stops you from asking for help? So if you were one of those people that said, I don't know, I haven't asked for help before, what stops you from asking for help? There are so many different reasons. You can go to the shiftwellnessrally.com/vote to join. I think for me in the past, it's been not knowing how to ask when I was younger, and I just didn't really know how to ask for help or what I needed. And then I'm definitely curious as well, what tool are you using the most to manage your well-being? We've heard about so many. We've heard about self-care tips and apps and community organizations and resources. Which resource are you using the most? We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, it's really interesting too because, we just can really access help from our fingertips now. I think it's so amazing, right? So online apps and our friends, peers, trusted adults, like there's so much out there to get this, the help that we need and that we all deserve. So I think that's really cool. And that's great to see so many different options are being used. And it's true. What works for one person can be very different for another, which it helps to be mindful of when you're trying things out.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Jesse Zookman here, mental health patient, advocate, suicide survivor, training to be a mental health care professional myself. People ask me all the time, what are some things I can do for my mental health? 3 tools. Number 1, sleep. Go to sleep at the same time every night. Wake up at the same time every day. Number 2, nutritious diet. Less things that come in bags, less things that come in boxes. The next thing, being social, just finding some type of community. Maybe it's your synagogue, your church, your mosque, maybe it's a sports group. But having that camaraderie, it's so crucial to maintaining your mental health.
For me, writing is a way to let out my feelings and to basically put them away. If it's just journaling, write them into a poem. And then dancing. Movement, exercise, and creative expression is so important.
I love to use the arts and different creative outlets as a way to engage people in conversations about mental health and making this wellness space a lot more fun and creative.
I have a turtle, which is like one of the weirdest ESA animals that you could have. I guess like just talking to him and like cleaning his tank and spending time with my animal, like it makes me feel better.
Therapy. I was one of those people, I don't need it, I don't want it. But without realizing it, I was hurting myself. You think that I can deal with it and I can get over it and I can figure it out on my own. It's totally not the case. And taking therapy, it's showing me that you don't know anything. You don't know what you're going through. You know what you see and what you feel, but you don't really know what's going on.
Hey everyone, my name is Kelly Davis with Mental Health America, here to share a quick tip about dealing with stress. So if you can imagine, this is your brain. This part right here, your prefrontal cortex, also known as your rational or thinking brain, helps you make decisions about what to do and what to do next. This part right here, if you can imagine, is your amygdala. And your amygdala is what in your brain releases stress hormones when you're freaked out. So when something stressful happens, your brain goes like this, and you flip your lid. What happens next is that if you can just remember that this part of your brain is trying to help you out by making you more alert to what's going on, you can slowly take enough breaths to where you can bring your thinking brain back home with you.
One of my favorite positive coping techniques that I love to share with others, and I do this every single day, it's called self-compassion hug. I love giving myself a nice snug hug. I like to put my hands up here on my shoulders. They may look silly, they may look weird. You're probably like, what is she doing? But trust me, it works, and I'll explain why. This activates the mammalian care system. So this takes us back to when we were first born and being held. The message that we're sending to our brain is that we are safe and we are comforted. And our brain doesn't know the difference, it just knows we are being held. When we hug ourselves, we're telling ourselves, hey, we are allowing ourselves in our personal space. You are calm, you are safe, and this is a wonderful stress reducing, positive technique. That's a great way to ground yourself, a great way to be there for yourself, great way to soothe, and it's easy. Now you know how to do it.
Hi everyone, this is Ifacho, teaching you laughter yoga. Scientific studies show the body cannot differentiate between real or fake laughter. Whether I go ha 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 ha, or if I really laugh like the body still gets all the wonderful health benefits from it. Within minutes of doing laughter yoga, you elevate your mood and you bring more joy to yourself. When you do laughter, at some point you have to take a big breath, and that brings a lot of oxygen to the body. It lowers the blood pressure, decreases the stress hormone, cortisol, and increases your endorphins. Now, the steps of laughter yoga. Number 1, clapping and chanting. The way we clap is finger to finger, which gives you good acupressure points, energizes you. We're gonna chant like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna add ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Yay! Now we do this just so we get out of the brain, out of the mind, and into a more childlike, playful, silly, okay? And once you do the exercises, it starts to flow. And trust me, at some point you're gonna think, oh, this is so silly, and start to laugh. That is the whole point. Now, number 2 is breathing and stretching. So breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out. Let's get a nice stretch. Stretch arm over. And the other side. We like to do meditation towards the end, just to focus you in. We start with a little laugh and becomes bigger. In order to get the health benefits, the laughter must be long and prolonged for a good 10-15 minutes, and a good belly laugh from the diaphragm. A good massage for your stomach. We crack the code for laughter. How do we get more laughter in our lives? Laughter yoga, that's the key.
When we heal ourselves to be that 100%, we're like, wow, I never thought that I could be this happy, or I could be not worrying so much. We're so used to not living that life that we don't realize we do need to heal, that we would benefit from therapy. Because I would never think of going to therapy when I was younger, or maybe even 5 years ago. But now I realize the importance of it.
One thing I've discovered on my own mental health journey is that recovery is not a straight line. It'll go back, you'll slide, you'll backslide, you'll go forward. It really is an exercise in accepting progress, not perfection, and accepting that we don't always feel good, and accepting we're not always happy, and sometimes we feel absolutely terrible, and still we can participate in life. And for me, the more that I've been able to accept the bad days, the less bad days I have.
Happiness is not feeling sad. Happiness is being okay with your emotions, you know?
When it comes to taking action and advocating for my mental well-being this year, I will continue to have an open and honest conversation with those around me in order to help break the stigma surrounding mental health.
I just want to say that I'm so proud of the students. You guys did such a fantastic job today.
I hope you hear something today that helps you cope better with your situation. We hear you, we are listening, and we want to help.
We are grateful that you are telling us what you need, and we are going to do everything to get it for you. And at times, we're going to also need you to come with us and organize, because sometimes it's really hard. But we're here for you, so please always reach out.
Thank you so much for being part of this conversation, being part of this rally, and being part of this solution.
Wow. Well, I know that I feel a shift. I've definitely learned something from today. I love it. What did you get out of it? Anything shift for you?
Yes. I mean, I loved it all. The starfish, my personal favorite, the meditation.
Yes, I need to be better about meditating. That is for sure. I also really appreciate the reminder that, hey, many of us, our mental health journey, it's not going to be this straight line, and it's not going to be the same as other people. So let's be compassionate towards ourselves and towards each other. That can help us go a long way. I just love that reminder.
Yes, absolutely. And that's essential. So what's changed for you all? How likely are you to try a new approach to your mental health and well-being after today? Checking in with you all. Let us know by voting. The question is likelihood of trying new approach to mental health. You can go to the shiftwellnessrally.com/votes to join in on the conversation. Are you more likely, less likely, about the same?
Hey, we're seeing some more likely. That's great. We're not seeing any less likely, so that's good. I'm definitely going to try a new approach. I think that having these apps that are out there will be really fun to try. I love that. And like we said, supporting our mental health can really start with a small step, and everybody's steps look different. It's important to remember that. So which approaches will you guys be trying? There are so many great ways to start. So let us know. The next question, which approach will you be trying? I already said mine. I think apps and online, especially nowadays.
I love that one. Self-care tips. That's really important too. Free resources. There's so much work to be done in that space as well. But I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving it. Everyone's mental health journey is so unique. It is a personal path. So if it's the thing you're trying, the first thing you're going to try, or a seasoned self-shifter, the tools, the presenters, and programs featured today are all on the Shift Wellness Rally's resource page. So you can always check those out. For more information, go to the shiftwellnessrally.com and click on resources.
Yes, no matter who you are, where you are, we have those resources. Plus, you can take a picture of the screen. There are so many options here to activate your inner advocate and your well-being. So right here, you can get involved. You can also spark your passions and connect with your peers, mentors, and new possibilities at myshyMyfuture.org. There's a couple other things coming up. The Chicago Mayor's Youth Commission is hosting a focus group, and you can help generate ideas and feedback on how the city invests in youth mental health. So that's awesome. Follow on Instagram at Shy Youth Commission. They're also presenting with Family Action Network, Life as a Quarantine, a youth-led virtual conversation on May 25th. I love that.
Yes, I want to do all these things. And this Thursday, May 20th, it's the first ever Mental Health Action Day. And you can take one action for your mental health and image. We're all making, imagine we're all making that small shift, right? It's huge. Mm-hmm. Plus XRE and NAMI West LA, who are a big part of our first LA rally, they're both part of that day, and they both have online events all through May for mental health. And NAMI Chicago's hashtag just checking in is another way to ask yourself or someone else, hey, how are you doing? And make it okay to ask for help. And that's something we can all keep doing.
Yes. That's so good. And please treat yourself to something nice for being here with us. We have well-being product sponsors, Aura, Centered, which I just got sent something from and I'm obsessed, and Dynamicos are each providing promo codes on our website. They're free and discounted offers, and we want to make sure you guys take advantage of all of them. So you can go to theshiftwellnessrally.com and click on our product partners page. Highly recommend.
Yes. That's amazing. And we're sending a big thank you to Rincon Family Services and Recovery International for inviting this conversation, for elevating access to mental well-being, and for all the work they do every single day on the ground in the community. And to all the speakers, presenters, partner organizations, and of course, to all of you young people who submitted and shared your voice today.
Yeah, I love to hear from so many people. And we look forward to hearing where the conversation continues to go from here. And where will the Shift Wellness Rally be next time? You should tell us. Share what you got out of this rally on social media. You can like us, follow us, and share with us what really made a difference for you, what this rally did for you. We really want to know. It means so much to us.
Yes, it's so fun. Let's keep this conversation alive.
For sure. Thank you so much, Paulina, and everyone for joining us.
Thank you. Let's all do this again and just help each other live our best lives.
Right? Yes. Rallying and speaking up about your mental health and the well-being of those around you. All right, everyone. Keep starting the conversation for yourself with each other, and stay safe and stay shifted.
Yes. Stay shifted and stay safe, Chicago.
Mental health is never anything fun to talk about, but when we collectively break that stigma surrounding our own hardships and our own well-being, it becomes a much less scary topic to talk about.
If you know someone who's struggling with their own experiences with trauma and they're in need of support, one of the most helpful things that we can do is just listen, come from a place of wanting to understand, and try to build collective vision with them on how they can be supported.
It's been a really tough year, and everyone's experiences are different. Everyone has something different that they're battling. You should know that you're not alone. You shouldn't tell yourself that, oh, I shouldn't need help.
We might not know how to get there, but we have a plan, and it's all about starting it. So we got this, guys.
Go out there, express yourself.
Let's openly talk about mental health as it is part of our overall health. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. We see you, we hear you, and we are here for you.
I think it's also important the community that you have around you, people that you feel safe and supportive to reach out to.
Thank you for listening, because listening goes a long way when it comes to mental health.
Whether you're a young adult, you're 13 years old, or you're a parent who is trying to better understand where your child is coming from. If you think you need help beyond your control, to know that it's okay. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It just makes you more human. If we all work collectively as a community and society to break that stigma, we can all confidently walk forward in our future and have a better, healthier life for ourselves.
We wish you a great journey and thank you for joining this wellness rally.